Hey bitch, you know what I love? I love when people on this app take accountability and like really stand up and say, you know something, I was wrong and this is why I was wrong. Unfortunately, that did not happen with this person.
I want to apologize for starting off a video saying I didn't know if I was going to go to Coachella this year because I didn't know if brands were going to send me. That did not land, and I get that. Fucking tone deaf as shit. No defense for that. I'm very open about the fact online that I am a huge liberal. I'm hugely against Trump. I'm hugely against ICE. I passionately believe in women's rights, trans rights, LGBTQ rights. And because of those stances, I've lost a lot of brand partnerships, and I've never cared because I've made in a lot of videos that you guys are now posting and seeing resurface. I would rather lose a partnership than make my stance on something unclear. I stand by all of that. This weekend, I partnered with a brand that, despite everything that they've seen and you've seen about my political views, was happy to partner with me. This brand and every other brand in the world has never been boycotted by me. I have never once come on this app, and if I have, please find in the comments, you post the link of where I said these are the brands I'm boycotting. Every single big corporation you could think of has unfortunately had ties to the man in charge right now. Now, if your issue with the partnership I did was with how the brand handled a conflict in the Middle East, you in particular want to boycott any brands that has had ties to the situation in the Middle East. Ones here are ones that most of us use and support. If you can confidently look through every single item on that boycott list and say you do not use any of those items, rip me apart in those comments. Like, so for real, I'm a glutton at the end of the day. You want to get a Diet Coke, or if you want to get mac and cheese from Chick-fil-A, you have to, you have to live. And if we keep making it the end of the world, we're just going to keep losing. No one agrees on 100% of the same things, but if we can all agree that Trump sucks, ICE sucks, what's going on in the Middle East sucks, we can take action and we can vote. We can have the discussions online, spread awareness. And if you're basically telling me, actually, brand, no, you can't, we want you to stay silent about everything, that I'm not.
This is what I mean when I say the words that are coming out of your mouth are not going with your actions. This is exactly what I meant. And the reason why I keep talking about Brandon is because I followed him, and I saw a queer person who had a huge platform and said, listen, you know something, I'm going to teach you or teach people how to do what I did, you know, how to make money and how to really thrive in life. But let's talk about this video that he did, apologizing and being tone deaf and still being tone deaf in the apology. That video was a classic of, you know something, I did something wrong, but look at you, look what you're doing. And let's take Starbucks out of the equation. Let's take it out of this whole equation. In that video, you mentioned the conflict in the Middle East. The conflict. And that was a very specific choice of words. And it's really telling of where you stand on that without actually telling it. See, and when people were calling you out in your comments about saying the word conflict and not saying the word genocide, you had all these things to say in response of, look who's in charge of this app. You have to be careful of what we say. Okay, it's a war. But meanwhile, in that video, you can say, I don't like Trump, fuck ICE, I support trans people, I support queer people, which are usually trigger words on this app to kind of get your video not really seen out there. So it's not actually the word that you're trying to be careful of, it's actually what you believe is true. Let me tell you why I said that. The Jewish Journal did an article about you on March 5th, 2024, at least a year after the genocide started happening in Palestine. With you being on this podcast talking about how you went from minimum wage to making a lot of money on social media with brands. Now, the Jewish Journal is a very well-known Zionist publication, having many guests who are Zionist and pro-Israel. And to me, that shows me where you actually stand on the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Now, in that video, you say, well, you know where I stand, that I am a liberal, I do not support Trump, and fuck ICE. So let's bring that into the equation now. I feel that you don't do research on things that you are supporting, like Coachella. Now, I already did a video on this about the owner of Coachella, Philip Anschutz. Now, while he is not a Trump supporter, he donates a shitload of money to a lot of political people who are anti-trans, anti-queer, Trump supporters, and who support ICE. So yes, when people say you sold out because first of all, you didn't do your research, or you did do your research and you just ignored it. But all those things that you said in the beginning of your video that you do support and you don't support have totally contradicted you going to Coachella. I know as a Middle Eastern Jewish person myself, I would never go on a podcast or have a Zionist publication do an article about me. I don't give a fuck if you drink Starbucks. I don't care. Drink your fucking sugar-coated fucking latte, triple venti, ICE, whatever the fuck it is. And your quote at the top where it says perfection is the prevention of progress, the quote is actually perfection is the enemy of progress. No one's asking you to be fucking perfect because no one is fucking perfect. We're just asking you not to gaslight your audience and understand who you are supporting while you're going to Coachella. And I've seen a lot of apologies on this fucking app, and that was probably in the top 5 of the shittiest ones.